Hello, everybody. Samara Riviera here. We're at Plummer Park today in Hollywood, and I have a very interesting guest today, Miss Toni Newman. How's it going?
Everyone, how is everyone doing?
Now, for those of you who don't know, Miss Toni Newman recently wrote a book. It's a tell-all book about your life.
25 years.
25 years, sex.
About my young days as a young boy all the way to college and to my coming out and going through the gay stage and the gay male stage and then transforming to the cross-dresser and then finally going into transgender and transforming from male completely to female.
Okay. And what is the title of the book, and where can people find the book?
The book is called I Rise, The Transformation of Toni Newman by Toni Newman, and it's on Amazon through hard book and through Kindle, ebook, Google, Barnes & Nobles, iPod, BlackBerry. You can get it for $9 and download it on your computer on anything that you have, from Kindle to a BlackBerry to your phone to your iPod. And it's 242 pages, full color, with about 60 color pics. And I'm going to show you one or two during the interview to show you how I started out and then how I ended up.
Okay. And can you tell us what made you decide to write a book about your last 25 years of your life?
I've never seen an African American nor Latino transgender write a memoir. This is a memoir, and a memoir is something that starts at the beginning and goes to the end over a certain period of time. And this would encompass about 25 years. My getting out of college in 1985 until 2011 till today. So I wanted to write about what I went through as a African American transgender, which is very different, I believe, than Caucasians go through. I know a lot of Caucasian transgenders, and they did not go through what me and my Latino sisters had to go through for as family, not owning up, not speaking, no money, no funds, no support, had basically nothing when I started out, absolutely nothing. So that's why I did it.
Okay. And can you tell us about your education, your background, where where you studied and all that?
I graduated from Jacksonville Senior High as an honor student in '81. Got several scholarships academically to a college in North Carolina called Wake Forest University, which is where everyone knows Dr. Maya Angelou arrived in, I think, 1982. And that's where my book title comes from. I met her and read her poem, I Rise. It talks about you coming from nothing, coming from the dirt, and climbing up and rising beyond what people say about you, what people think about you. We have a lot of negative stereotypes, and people think not too highly of transgender since they don't see them. And the book is about, we are here. And, we want respect, and we need love and support, just like the gays, the lesbians, and the bisexuals in our group. We all need love.
You touch a lot of subjects in your book, obviously, but the one subject that I want to talk about is about the sex. Because, a lot of the times people think, we don't want transgenders to be associated with sex because they think that we're all prostitutes and sex workers and all that. So why did you choose to write about the sex?
Well, in all seriousness, I've traveled as an escort on Eros and Backpage and Craigslist for about 7 years. Stopped about 4 or 5 years ago. And most of us, not all, I've had some emails of people saying I'm not, but the ones that I know in Boston, Miami, Chicago, who are African American, Asian, Latino, do work the escorting because there's no judgment there. We have something that down low, discreet, bisexual men want. They don't want anyone to know, and they're willing to pay for it. And as long as we're kept in that manner, that's how we make our living. And most of us are afraid to go out and get jobs due to discrimination, which we do face on the jobs, and ridicule, no matter if you're passable or not passable. Once that's out, it becomes something different on the job. It's more focusing on she is a transgender than how qualified you are. So most of us are, and I'm just trying to let everyone know that not all of us are prostitutes. Some of us do have prostituted. I didn't deny it. I was a street whore. I've also been a escort whore, an internet whore, and I'm no longer that now. I went beyond that and went to school and started taking classes, and I'm enrolled in law school. I'm not taking classes now, but I would like to get back to that and hopefully to defend transgenders who are treated like shit in the legal system, which I've been arrested 3 times for prostitution, indecent exposure, and solicitation 10 years ago. And they treat you like shit, as if you just blew up the World Trade Center. I mean, they handcuff you and chain you up together like animals and call you names and just all kinds of things. And this is a misdemeanor, which is given 2 weeks of community service and you're let go the next day. So it's not right how we're treated in the legal system, and it's difficult. So a lot of us are prostitutes, were prostitutes, but I'm hoping that if you're creative and you're a makeup artist, she's a photographer here, you have other things you can do and let your creative side flow. Don't get so caught up in transforming and whoring that you forget that you are a great makeup artist or a great singer. You know, I have a good mind, so I like to write and go to school. We all have something, some talent. Don't forget your talent, you know. And I understand why we prostitute. I understood why I prostituted, because it was easy. They came to my house, they gave me money. I didn't have to deal with stereotypes, people on the job, working in the public. But, you know, we have to get out. If we want to be recognized, we're going to have to get out with the people and let them know, hey, I can do this. And I'm just not a transgender prostitute. I have other things about me.
Well, thank you for that, because I think that's definitely true. I find that a lot of the sex workers just so happen to be African American, Latina, and Asian.
Yes, they do.
And I've seen that in all the cities that I lived in, like New York, Miami, and Los Angeles.
As a street prostitute, I never saw any white girls hardly. I saw maybe one white girl. As a street prostitute, I hardly saw any white girls. Now on the internet, at the $200 level, I see quite a few who are escorts, as we call ourselves, not prostitutes. You know, we don't work the corner. We're not soliciting. We get a phone call, and we make a deal, and we do it. But you find mainly as prostitutes and escorts, you're black, Latino, and Asian. And we feel comfortable there. It's comfortable for us. I know why we do it, but I'm trying to break that cycle that we can do other things. We do it because we're afraid, and I was afraid to go out and tie the hair back and say good morning to the class, and is that a transgender? Get over that. Yes, I'm a transgender. What about it? And go ahead. Most people are good people. I've been discriminated against, yes, but most people, even through this process of writing the book, and I've talked to a few people, they're very nice. They just want to hear your story. Not everybody is judging us, but we're so afraid of those one or two who ridicule us that they hold us back, and we're very afraid to step out for those assholes that make us feel worse than, you know, all you can do is suck my cock. I'm going to give you $100 and you're a great cocksucker. That's all you can do. Well, I could be a great cocksucker, and I am a great cocksucker, but I can do other things as well. So there you go.
Right. And what do you have to say to some of the people, the trans community, that are going to say this book is holding us back, it's bringing us back to the 80s, you know, it's not taking us forward because she talks about whoring and prostitute and sex. What do you have to say to those people?
Well, now I've spoke about my life. There's been some things in the book people have not liked. I wish I could have grew up, you know, had a great family life, and I wish they would have supported me and gave me money where I didn't have to go on the street and get pumped and get my hormones and get silicone pumped in a van from the doctor, as we called her. I wish I didn't have to do that, but that's my story. So for me to be truthful and honest, I have to tell what I went through. My story's not glamorous. My story is not one of you know, a lot of money. I had to do a lot of things that I'm not proud of to get where I am today.
So let's talk about the juicy stuff, you know, in the book. You have a copy of the book right here.
Well, I sold out yesterday at the book fair, but this is the copy of the book, I Rise, The Transformation of Toni Newman by Toni Newman on Amazon.
Okay, so something that got a lot of attention, which is the reason why I knew about your book and heard about it, because I saw some write-ups about your alleged sexual encounters with one rapper, LL Cool J.
I don't, a lot of people make a big deal out of that whole situation. I know about 50 to 60 trannies who've emailed me names of some wonderful people that you guys would, we see a lot of down low people. This is a guy I met as a street prostitute over 12, 13 years ago, and he was one of many. I saw a couple of senators and governors in my time, but he was the one that's more current. He's a hip hop figure, and I did that because there's a lot of figures in hip hop who put us down, but love transgender and femboys, and they're bisexual, and they refuse to accept the truth. I've got over 100 emails of people who've said they know someone who's been with him, who's a femboy and all this type of thing. I don't really understand the big deal about that. He's one of hundreds in the hip hop, the rap, the R&B, rock, politicians who do this. A couple of them, one just got called off Craigslist for posting and resigned. Senators. So it happens all the time. And I did that to let people know these are people that you people respect who are doing things with people that you say, oh, I can't believe they dress up. I can't believe that they do that. Oh, those people. Aren't they mentally disturbed? We are getting a lot of appreciation from people that you people call great family men and great guys. They're really bisexual on the down lows. You put them up on pedestals, and then he could never do that. And, I don't really understand the big deal. Mr. C, I told months ago, he then got busted. He then pled guilty. His third arrest for soliciting a prostitute, transgender, and I was with him 20 times. Since this time, I understand he's finally admitted. I know her, and I met her years ago. Done deal. So, 1 out of the 3 is already confirmed that he knew I was a street prostitute. And I only mention these guys because I was homeless then as a street prostitute. I was broke. I was very broken. No family, no support, educated person, but walking the street because that's the only place I found love was among the black, Latino, and Asian transgender sisters who were out hustling. We were just trying to make a living. They were the only ones that were my family at that time. And some of them were crack addicts, alcoholic, all kinds of things. But they were my family because I had nowhere else to go. And I only mention his name because he would be someone that most people would recognize. I could say others who had political offices, but a lot of you wouldn't know who he was. And then Quara wanted a name, who was the initial story breaker of someone, and they asked the rapper, and I had said his name, and they had heard his name before for this type of thing, and that's what I was polygraphed to with them, and that's how that contract was released. After they decided, they contacted him, they didn't run the story, called me that day and said, oh, we're sorry, we're not going to run it, we were just speaking to LL. I was told there was a payoff. I don't really know what happened. But then someone else, Jackie Jasper, took the contract and said, who polygraphs you at $700 and signed you a contract if they didn't believe you? He then went and did some investigation and ran with the story, and it broke like a mad fever about LL Cool J. I did mention Eddie Murphy and Mr. C, but the concentration and focus was LL Cool J. And, he's not the only one. There are hundreds of rappers who are married and hip-hop people who are bisexual. They're not gay now, because you cannot be gay if you're sleeping with a woman. They're bisexual, and it's just time to own up to it.
So you did take a polygraph test, and you passed it.
I've taken 2. I took 2 polygraphs, and Hip Hop Weekly ran with the story as well about LL and rumors, and I've been told many things since this came out. I've got emails of names of flight attendants I should call. They're willing to come forward. I just told one time 13 years ago, he's not my lover. He's not my friend. I've had hundreds of lovers who are of a political, music nature, rap nature, athlete, hundreds that, between me and my transgender sisters, and we traveled for 7 years. We met some really interesting guys that you guys put up on a pedestal, and they belittle us out in public, but on the down low, they're very appreciative, and they'll pay for it. So.